back to Nourish Me TV. Today we are making a super easy, I'm going to call this a basics menu. It also is a radiance menu, which means it's gluten-free, sugar-free, and dairy-free. And we're making a beautiful salmon. Oh, my oven's ready. We're going to make a beautiful salmon, basmati rice with some fresh herbs and some fresh steamed broccoli. It's a super basic menu that you can make any night of the week in less than 20 minutes. The thing that takes the most time is a basmati rice. But the salmon is so delicious, and stick around because I'm going to show you how to turn this dinner into tomorrow's lunch. My name is Steph, and I'm a holistic health coach, and I'm a chef. And I want to help you eat better, feel better, sit down and nourish your body. I know you are busy, and I know that you want to eat better and feed your family more whole, real, delicious food. So today we are jumping in to do just that. Okay, first let's get started with the basmati rice. This is what's going to take the longest of this entire menu, so you can have dinner on the table in less than 20 minutes. I'm going to start with boiling 1 cup of water, and then I'm going to add half a cup of basmati rice. And I buy the big bags of basmati rice, the aged basmati rice at Costco, and then I keep it in a container. Remember, healthy, clean carbs are good for your brain and good for energy. You want to have energy so that you can fuel your busy life. So I live in the mountains, and I have found that my rice comes out a lot better when I boil the water first and then add the rice in. So that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to put this water on high heat, uncovered, and as soon as it comes to a boil, I'm going to add my rice, stir it once, and then reduce the heat to low, all the way to low, cover it, and let it cook for about 15 to 16 minutes. Okay, let's get the salmon in the oven. Another thing I recommend is buying your salmon in a whole piece. So a whole piece of salmon. Now, you know, if that is too much and you don't want to do that, that's no problem. But I recommend buying it whole because it has fewer cuts, less handling by the people at the grocery store. And so if you buy a whole piece of salmon, bring it home, take it out of the packaging, wash it, cut it into a couple of portions, and then freeze the rest. You can even just cut it in half and then make one part of it for dinner and the other part can go into the freezer, and put it in the freezer the same day, whatever you decide to hold on to. Fish, of course, stays best in the freezer, and it won't stay good in the refrigerator for very long. So buy your fish, cook what you want for that evening, put the other half in the freezer for another meal, and then once you cook your salmon for your dinner, then you're gonna have your extra piece of salmon for your lunch tomorrow. So make sure and make a little bit of extra salmon, but you're gonna eat it the very next day. You know what, we could talk about leftovers while we're at it right now. Real quick, I like to use glass dishes as much as possible. So I put this salmon in the freezer just a couple days ago, and I kept it in the glass dish. Same thing with your leftovers. Try to keep your leftovers in glass and not plastic, and leftovers are best the very next day. So I try not to let food go for more than 2 days in the refrigerator because you want it to be full of nutrition, you want it to be fresh, and we call it prana. You want your food to be full of prana. So I know it can be a little bit of a hassle, but if you buy your groceries and then you cook the food that day and the next day, then you know that your food is going to stay fresh and you will have much less waste. The most waste we have is food that was never eaten sitting in the refrigerator. So buy what you're gonna eat for the next day or two. Get your fresh food in the oven, in your body, has loads of prana, which means it has loads of energy, and it's so good for you. The other thing I was gonna say is that glass doesn't allow other smells and other things that are in the refrigerator to get into your food as easily as plastic does. So glass just keeps your food fresher all in all. So whatever you can do, if you can have just a few glass containers to hold on to your food for your next day, that's the ideal situation. Okay, so I have these beautiful salmon fillets. They do have the skin on them. I put a little piece of parchment paper on my sheet pan so that it will be less mess and it'll be a lot easier. And Very simple. Of course, the salmon is so good. This is wild caught salmon, delicious, full of nutrition, and very healthy for you. So I put a little bit of olive oil on there, and now I'm going to add a little bit of everything bagel seasoning. And everything bagel has sesame seeds in it and poppy seeds and a handful of other things. So good. The seeds are very healthy. Anytime you can incorporate sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds into your diet, very good for hormone balancing. I'm going to put a little bit of crushed red pepper on the salmon now, just for a little bit of kick, a little bit of spice, and a little bit of granulated garlic. One more thing, I wanted to show you a quick trick about cooking fish in your oven or on the grill. Now, citrus is so delicious with any kind of seafood that you're cooking, and if you put a lemon or a lime, cut it in half and put it in the oven with your fish, I'm gonna show you how juicy and amazing it is when it comes out. So now I'm gonna get this in the oven. Next, let's get the broccoli going. I'm just gonna cut a tiny bit off the stem here, and for today, I'm gonna make these into long pieces of broccoli. I'm gonna just steam it, do a very simple steam. I put a pot of water on the stove with just a little bit, like maybe an inch of water, and I'm gonna bring that to a boil, and I'm just cutting these just right at the stem. Make it really simple. It's kind of nice to have these long pieces of broccoli sometimes. So instead of florets, I'm making kind of like long, bigger florets. And remember that cruciferous vegetables are really good for your microbiome, for your gut balance. So anytime you can get some cruciferous vegetables into your meal plan is always great. I find us eating broccoli almost every day just because it's such an easy go-to. Okay, the salmon is still in the oven, but the rice is ready to go. Okay, so after the timer went off, I did a tiny little peek to make sure all the water was boiled out of the bottom of the pot. There was a tiny bit of water left, so I added 3 more minutes onto the timer. And then once the water is completely gone, and you don't want to disrupt the rice too much, don't stir it, just kind of peek, and then leave the lid on for about 5 more minutes. So turn the heat all the way off. Don't touch it, otherwise leave the lid on for about 5 more minutes and it comes out perfect. So don't be scared by rice. I don't mean to be giving you all these details about the rice, but basmati rice, like I said, is such an easy, delicious, clean burning carb, and it has lots of nutrition in it, and it's just so easy to digest. So it's a great thing to add to any of your meals, and it's relatively quick, so yummy. But today we're gonna zhuzh up our basmati rice a little bit. So I have some fresh cilantro here. Always wash your cilantro, always wash your fresh herbs the best that you can. I dried it off just a little bit with a towel. And then hold your cilantro by the stems here. So just hold it by the stems. You can also do basil like this too. And it's not gonna be perfect, so don't worry about it, but hold your cilantro by the stems and then use your knife and just kind of take it down the stalk of your herbs, and the little cilantro leaves will just kind of pop right off with your knife. Okay, see, look at that. So there's the stems. I like the stems too, but if you don't want to put them in this menu, then you can, that's one easy way to get them out. Okay, so we've got some cilantro. I'm just gonna pull a few more of these stems out of the way that we missed. Cilantro has long stems in general. So, okay, we've got cilantro. We're just gonna do a rough chop. I've got my little knife here today that is my other favorite knife. I have a couple of favorite knives, but just give it a nice chop. So let's have a little quick knife lesson. Just be careful, always, obviously, be careful. The times that you're most likely to cut your hands, your finger, or make a mistake is if you have a dull knife, and then also when you're washing it. People cut their hands all the time when they're washing knives. So just be careful when you're using knives always, but keep your fingers out of the way. Isn't that that's a great tip, isn't it? Keep your fingers out of the way. So, the more comfortable you get, the more easier it becomes. But you know what? We don't care what size the cilantro is. It's okay if it's all different sizes. If it's small pieces and big pieces, no big deal. So with this kind of a knife, you want to push down at the front and use the back end of the knife the best that you can. Now, if you start to feel comfortable, you can use your hand to put a little pressure on there, and it does make it a little bit easier. Keep all your fingers out of the way. One of my goals here is to help you enjoy cooking, and that you want to be in the kitchen and you want to eat real whole food, because if you make it at home, you know exactly what ingredients are in your food, and that is maybe the most important thing. Okay, so I have my beautiful basmati rice here, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I started cooking half a cup of rice when it's just for 2 of us. So like 1 cup would probably be enough for about 4 people, 2 cups would be enough for about 8 people. The label on your rice packaging should be pretty clear about making those estimates for how much you want to make. And of course, you can have a little bit of leftover basmati rice. Just you'll want to heat it up on the stove top. So I'm trying to make rice just what we're going to eat in this one meal, because rice is one of those things that it's not very expensive and you can make fresh pretty easily. So I got the cilantro, fresh cilantro, into the basmati. I thought for fun I would add some edamame. So the broccoli is done. I used the same pot for the broccoli. I steamed the broccoli till it was bright green and perfect. I have it right here. So I have our broccoli is steamed and perfect and great. And then I put some fresh water in the same exact pot, and then I boiled up some frozen edamame. These were already shelled, and edamame is a great source of protein, also fiber, and I just love edamame. It's a nice little thing to add to your rice, to add to any of your meals, just to give it a little bit of extra fun. Okay, I'm gonna do olive oil in the rice now, a little bit of pink salt, and now I'm going to be very careful not to over process the rice. So you just want to do a little tossing, a little folding. Try not to smash your beautiful basmati rice. It's got this beautiful green color, and as soon as I put that cilantro into the rice, it just already smells so fragrant. It's like that heat turns it on. So I'm gonna put that off to the side until we're ready to make a plate, and put the lid back on to keep it hot. Okay, our salmon is ready. Beautiful, delicious salmon. It's cooked perfectly. So one way you can tell if salmon is cooked perfectly is just touch it gently on top, and if it's super soft, then it probably needs a few more minutes in the oven. But you can see on the sides that it's cooked down in the bottom and it's a tiny bit brown on top too, so that looks amazing and perfect. Don't overcook your salmon. It gets too dried out and it won't be tasty and yummy. Okay, so let's make a plate. We also have our cooked limes on here. You're gonna see how awesome that is for our dish. So we have our rice is ready to go, the edamame cilantro rice. I'm just gonna put a little scoop of that, probably like, you know, I don't know, half a cup to a cup. Plus we've got the edamame in there. And then I'm gonna put a few pieces of broccoli on there. Then I'm gonna use a spatula. Now remember, the salmon had skin on it, so I'm gonna just carefully try to take the salmon right off that piece of skin. Let's see, I'm gonna have to like scrape it a little bit this way. So I like to scrape the skin off while it's still on the sheet pan here. That was perfect. And then put my salmon right on our beautiful plate. Now we're gonna take this lime, which is crazy juicy. Since I cooked it in the oven a little bit, now it has so much juice, and I'm gonna add a little bit to the rice, a little bit to the broccoli, and a little bit to the salmon. Oh my gosh, the flavors, yummy, yummy, yummy. And then I like my broccoli pretty plain, but you can add just a little tiny bit of salt on there, and you can always put a little bit of olive oil on there. But once you mix it up with the rice and the edamame and the cilantro and the lime juice, oh my gosh, delicious. Okay, let's fast forward. I want to show you how to make our delicious dinner that we just made into a really beautiful lunch for you for tomorrow. So we're going to start with some kind of greens, and I have arugula greens here, washed and organic and ready to go. I love arugula. Some people don't love arugula, but it's spicy. It's got a nice little kick to it. It has a little bit of a different flavor. It's loaded with antioxidants, loaded with nutrients, and I like to do a good like maybe 1.5, 2 cups of arugula to start with. You can, of course, you could make it with romaine, lettuce, you could do chopped romaine, you could do kale if you want to, you could do spinach, of course you could do spinach. I want to show you how to dress these greens without even having to have an actual salad dressing or making a dressing. Now in another video I'm going to show you my favorite French vinaigrette, but since lunch is quick and I want to be able to make a quick salad with good vegetables, I'm just going to do it this way for today. So I have apple cider vinegar here. Apple cider vinegar, fun fact, is the only vinegar that has an alkaline effect on your body. And look, I'm just gonna use the measuring, the cap to measure. So I do 2 capfuls of apple cider vinegar, great for your digestion, great for turning on your digestive fire. And here's another trick that I have. I always keep a bottle of organic lemon juice in my refrigerator. Now, of course, fresh lemon is always amazing, but this ensures that I'm going to make my really simple quick salad for my lunches when I have a bottle of lemon juice ready to go. So 1 cap, okay, so if you're gonna measure this, it would be probably about 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle olive oil over the whole thing. It's probably about 1 tablespoon, maybe not quite that much. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of salt and pepper. I almost always use organic pink Himalayan salt. It's just good all around mineral salt. It has a really nice flavor, and it's just, it doesn't make me feel bloated or water retention. And salt is a very important taste that you need in your diet. So don't feel like you have to leave the salt out. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna add, have you heard that seeds are really good for you, especially for hormone balancing? Isn't that interesting? So I always buy raw nuts and seeds, okay? So if you want to cook them in your oven, you can. But when they cook them and roast them and salt them at the plant, they're using high heat. You don't know what kind of salt they're using. They might be mixing in other oils. So always buy your nuts and seeds raw, unprocessed, unroasted, unsalted, okay? So I've got some sunflower seeds here, so yummy. I'm just gonna put a few sprinkles of those in there. And then I have organic pumpkin seeds from, that are, well, these are sprouted, and these do have a little bit of sea salt on them. No big deal, I'm not worried about that at all. So pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and then I have some leftover roasted beets and carrots that I made the other night for dinner. So I'm going to add some roasted beets into my beautiful salad here. Roasted beets and roasted carrots. This can kind of be a little bit of my carbohydrate for my lunch today. And it's gonna add, of course, this beautiful flavor. The root vegetables, always tons of delicious flavor. And when I roast vegetables, I just simply peel them, chop them, throw them on a sheet tray with olive oil and a little bit of pink salt, cook them in the oven about 375. I don't want to cook it too hot, too fast. So I do 375 for about 30 to 40 minutes. Roasted vegetables take a little while, but I'd rather cook them a little bit slower than cook them on high heat. Delicious, and I will show you how this is all gonna come together. I also have a half of an avocado, and I did this on purpose so I can just show you how you can use a couple of things that you've already made a lot from the last couple, from yesterday or the day before, to come up with a delicious, beautiful lunch in no time at all. So half of an avocado, I kept the seed in there. That will help it from turning brown. And then just carefully poke that little seed out of there. And I'm just gonna use my knife and just do a really simple scrape off of the top part of the avocado. And then I'm gonna add this to my beautiful plate. You know what? I'm gonna start teaching people to put the avocado down on the cutting board so that you don't take any chance of cutting yourself. So we have our beautiful salad that we added some vegetables to, and we added our makeshift super quick vinaigrette. And I would always start by putting the vinaigrette, the apple cider vinegar and oil and lemon juice on your greens. so that they can start the digestion process for you. So make that be one of the first things that you do just to kind of get that going. And then we are almost done. I mean, lunch is ready. I have our piece of salmon that is extra. We made an extra piece of salmon with our dinner last night. And I'm going to put our beautiful salad with some roasted beets and carrots on here. And I want you to have a lot of greens with your lunchtime meal. Look at this beautiful plate. You have tons and tons of vegetables on your plate, and then you have this hearty piece of salmon for really good protein. And then I'm gonna add our half of sliced avocado. You could also, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of lemon juice on your avocado if you're gonna hold on to it overnight so that it stays nice and fresh looking, and so it doesn't turn brown. You know what, I'm not very good at that avocado trick. I don't know how people do that, where they fan it out and make it look really fancy. So I'm just gonna stick it on the plate. Look at our beautiful lunch, and that honestly came together in like 5 minutes. So quick and delicious. Salmon, loads and loads of vegetables, healthy fats to fuel your busy day, and you already had a plan last night to cook some extra salmon, and now you have a beautiful meal for your lunch. So please sit down, take a deep breath, nourish your body, nourish your mind. Take the time to fuel your body, because when you eat beautiful, delicious food like this, it nourishes every cell in your body. It will give you more energy, it will help you have a clearer brain, and you'll be less likely to have cravings in the afternoon. So when you eat a really good, healthy, full meal and enjoy it and digest it, you are good to go all the way for the rest of the afternoon. So if you like this video, please make sure and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and comment below if you ever want to have the actual recipes. You know, my hope is to inspire you to make some new foods and to just kind of wing it a little bit, because you'll be surprised how good this food can come together in a short amount of time with very few ingredients. I show you how easy it is to make healthy food at home. So nourish yourself, nourish me TV. I'm Steph. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day.